Welcome to Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs, the podcast that gives you an unfiltered, behind-the-scenes look at what it's really like being a woman in the middle who's over 50 and following her entrepreneurial dreams. Grab a superhero cape, girlfriend, because you deserve one. I'm your host, Master Certified Life Coach and Midlife Mentor, Susie Rosenstein, and I am excited to inspire you with interviews that feature all of this midlife amazingness. Let's go. Hey there, welcome back to the show. We have another really exciting interview ahead of us about owning a franchise in midlife. Today, you're going to be meeting Shawna Hicks Cranston, a woman in the middle entrepreneur who had to rethink parts of her business after her husband died. Welcome to the show, Shawna. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Susie, for having me. I'm looking forward to talking.
Me too. I know we're going to have a really great conversation about your midlife entrepreneur story. We're going to be talking about your business and what's going really well, and also what midlife issues might be getting in your way to some extent and maybe challenging for you in your life, as well as being a business owner. So let's get started with how old are you? How long have you been an entrepreneur? And what it is that you do in the world. Take it away.
Absolutely. I am 57 years old, and I have owned my Postnet location in Lakewood Ranch, Florida for 15 years, almost 16 years. Postnet is a great opportunity for me and my family when we started it to have something that our family could be proud of, could go all and work together. We are a printing, shipping, design company, basically for businesses. We all start a business because we're passionate about something. And then all of a sudden, everybody realizes they need marketing materials and business cards and a name tag, and they don't know where to get it. So they can come to Postnet and we can help them with all of that.
Oh my gosh. Now, did you always want a franchise? How did you even become aware of franchise possibilities?
Absolutely. My husband actually was in franchise before we had Postnet. He had was in franchising for 22 years in the staffing industry, and that's where I met him at, was in that industry. So we've been a franchise family. He absolutely loved his last franchise, and when we were looking for something after the birth of our child, we had 3 locations and really wanted to become more community oriented. We were traveling a lot. And to be honest, we were both stuck on the other side of a bridge. And we kind of, when I was pregnant, and kind of said, what happens if this happens when she's on one side of the bridge and we're on the other side? So it was really an eye-opening experience for us and gave us the opportunity to want to combine and kind of start over again, look for something that was a little smaller at the time, so we could be full-time parents and full-time business owners and really embrace our community.
Oh, that's great. Like a much more integrated work-life situation that would ultimately give you a little bit more balance, more grounding.
Work-life balance has been something that has been our goal and has been my struggle ever since we took over and actually had my daughter. I'm one of those people that be careful what you wish for, because at 40, you might just get it. I was 40 when I had my daughter. We do things a little different as we get older. And I didn't want to not still have my business. So it was something that really wanted to work on those goals to make sure that I could do both.
And I'm sure there were a lot of hits and misses as you were trying to figure things out.
A ton of hit and misses, and I can't say that I have mastered it, but I do think that as I get older, I definitely put a different spin on my thinking. And know my importance of my family, that, I'm ticking down. She's graduating a year early. So I have a countdown to her graduation, which she thinks is great because that's when she gets out of school. And that's when I'm trying not to have a heart attack because she is going to be out of school.
Yeah.
So, I do a lot more, planning and scheduling, than I did before. And I'm more, really honest with myself of what I can do. So I am not just doing something, I'm really enjoying it and seeing benefit from what I'm doing.
Oh, that's great. So you're using your time very wisely and living like time matters, because it does.
It does. It really does. Having a death in the family regardless if it's a husband or, a sister or an animal or something like that. It really does affect you. And as you get older, that list starts getting longer, and you really want to go ahead and appreciate the people that are in your life, your family, your friends, and even our customers. My customers are like family. I have a lot of customers that have been part of our family. They've watched my daughter be born, and she's going to be 17 in January. So, um, it's really a great opportunity. And that's what PostNet has allowed me to do, is really bring both of those together into my life. So my personal and professional life really does intertwine daily.
So, Shawna, I'm so sorry to hear about your husband. As you own the business together, I just can't even imagine what went through your head about how you were going to continue and what kind of changes you'd be making so that you could continue if that's what you decided to do. What was that process like for you?
Well, thank you. You know, being the company that we're part of, there was never a thought that I couldn't do it.
Wow.
We have such great support from headquarters. I will say that I think the third call that I made was to my regional and letting him know. I can't say that it was a call that was professional. I'm not even sure what I said to him, but it was sort of letting him know we're not going to be open today type of thing. But they were and still are so helpful and supportive. So that aspect of there was never a question that I couldn't do it. It was more of me being a perfectionist. And, Brad and I had, really sat down and divided up. We both come from a finance background, but we both
Oh,
couldn't be
wow.
the numbers people, just because of you just can't have two numbers people doing it, or, that's really doesn't work well, at least for us. So it was in the beginning, it was dividing up what we were going to do and really becoming experts in that area and really focusing on that. I will say, just before he passed away, probably about a year before, we had really talked about, his role in the company. He was looking to exit out over time. And so we went ahead and we were starting to do here, let me show you what I do. Here, let me show you what I do, and start doing that. And of course, that came to a very quick, here, now I get to do it all myself. So it was a lot of planning. It was sitting down. My team was so supportive. We were only closed for one day. We opened
Oh my
back the
gosh.
next day, just because we're so close to our community. I mean, they knew something was up. So we wanted to be there for them. They were as big a part of the healing and figuring out what we were going to do as anybody, because they wanted to support us. They wanted to support my team. They wanted to support my daughter. So my team really stepped up. Each of them, we kind of sat down, and I kind of was making a list of, okay, what does he do on a daily basis? What do I have to do now? I had really been over the years that outside marketing person. I went to all the networking events that he would prefer not to go to. I went to dinners, and so I was out of the center a lot. When I came into the center, he would leave. So we kind of tag teamed in that aspect. So it was more of, I have to sit down and, oh, look, I have to learn QuickBooks. And so I kind of became that new center owner all over again. And that's basically what I did. Was I kind of went back on, how did we start? Let's go back through this again. Making phone calls to headquarters, asking the questions that, he knew from the back of his head. And really just putting back together a game plan to reboot my office. And that's what we did. Is everybody we sat down as a team and kind of said, this is what I have to do. And I will say that my team, without being asked, was like, well, I like to do this. Let me take this on. Let me learn this with you. And so each one of them took a part of something that they had never done before, but they're like, I wouldn't mind learning this. I've never had to do it before because Brad did it, but let me go ahead and learn it. So they were very integral in, taking taking that journey of learning with me. Uh, our customers, we never missed a beat. We were always able to go ahead, and on the front side, everything was very smooth. In the backside, me sitting there with QuickBooks might not have been as smooth as I would have liked it to have been in the beginning. But those are things that headquarters and, good old fashioned Google being able to help me with that. And also, people like yourself being able to be life coaches and help through some of the things that happen when you have a change of life that you need to go through.
I don't know, Shawna. I'm just sitting here looking at you and I'm thinking, okay, what about grief? How did you manage that? And I'm wondering if, you know, customer care and showing up in your business must have helped you in some way, but only missing one day of work, my goodness.
It was a huge thing.
Oh,
When you have a 13-year-old daughter, my daughter was 13 when he passed away. It's kind of the pull the big girl panties up and we got to get going.
yeah.
Um, we still have bad days. And I'll call my team and I'll be like, not having a great day. It, happens to fall on a particular day that was near and dear to our hearts. Um, you know, Things change. So the way that I network now is different. Because I am a single parent all of a sudden. So I do go ahead and my time at home has become more near and dear and more intentional, I should say. Um, but it was something that the whole community grieved with me. I wasn't alone in it. It wasn't like, oh yeah, her husband passed away, and okay, now we need 500 business cards. Still to this day, we have customers that come in and that may have not been part of the circle. They travel or whatnot, and or uh, just for whatever reason weren't there all the time. And it still happens where people come in and they say, where's that tall guy? I really liked him. And then I have to explain, apologize that I'm sorry you weren't aware. And it just the outpouring of concern, um, sometimes even surprise. They're like, you went ahead and kept the business? You go through different journeys. So there are different moments of grief that we go through. But my customers and my community, all the networking groups that I was part of, they totally wrapped their arms around me and my daughter to make sure that they knew that I wasn't alone. And it's still to this day. And I'm able to give back because unfortunately, um, you know, I am not the only person that has lost somebody in the
Mhm.
last 4 years. So I have been able to return those hugs and that support. And, maybe it's a memorial picture or something that we print out for somebody because they've had to go through the same thing. So it is a big circle of life.
Yeah, wow. And your love of community and being a connector has made such an impact in the community and an impact in your life, it sounds like, right? It's all.
My community is they're like family.
Yeah.
When people come and work for us at PostNet, I'd like to let them know that, this is a job, but people are gonna see you out in the community and you're gonna all of a sudden they're gonna be like, hey, I saw that person there from PostNet. All of my associates have the opportunity to go out in the community and be part of events that we do, charities that we do. A lot of the charities that we're involved in is because they were customers of ours, and we just were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we're doing this for kids or for unwed mothers or whatever it might be, or the homeless." And it's like, "Well, how can we help?" So that is something that we're giving back is really important. We are a small business. I think we still fall under the micro business category, but we have a huge heart at PostNet, and our community is, even though we're growing by leaps and bounds, it really is a very tight knit community that really wants to help businesses grow. We're in a master community. It was a planned community, so it
Mm.
kind of gave us the opportunity before all the big names came in to really get to know small businesses and support them. Now we've grown enough where, yeah, we do have a Walmart and now we do have Starbucks. But before that, it was the mom and pop coffee shop down the road, that was the only opportunity around here. So you really got to know them.
Uh,
And now as the community is growing and much larger companies are coming in and we're growing by leaps and bounds, we still have that hometown feel. So
oh,
it
that's
really is it's a great place to be.
right. Well, thanks so much for sharing that. Have you noticed anything about being an older woman who's an entrepreneur and vice versa, an entrepreneur who's an older woman? Have you noticed anything good and bad?
I would say the good is, you know, I am much more intentional with my time. And I am not afraid to tell people, I would love to be part of that. I can promote it on social media, tell people, but I'm not necessarily going to go to every single networking event in person. So I think that's a huge change from, my 20s and 30s, where I just felt like I could go to 8 different things in a day and think nothing of it. Where now, I'm very intentional. So good and bad, depending on, where you are in your life journey. Some people look at me and go, "Oh, I can't imagine not doing all the things you used to do." And for me, it's just I really enjoy spending more time and drilling down and getting to know the organizations and the networking opportunities that I choose to spend a great deal of time with versus kind of doing the pray and spray method of let me go
Mm.
ahead. Because honestly, it was getting to the point every year, Brad and I would sit down and talk about our marketing and networking opportunities. And it got to be where a lot of them were very social, and I would see the same people 4 times a day.
Hmm.
And, as much as I love seeing the same people, the whole idea of getting out in your community is meeting new people and introducing people to other people that you know.
Yeah.
So I am much more intentional now. And I think I'm able to uh, give more valuable information. I have people come in every day and ask me, as we're waiting on them for something, and we ask them if there's anything else we can help them with, and they kiddingly say, "Oh yeah, I'm new to the area. I need a dentist." It's like, well, great. I can help you with that. Here's my Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance member book I can share with you. But I think I just do things a lot differently now than I did before. Um,
Yeah.
so
It's interesting. I went to a retreat on Friday, an in-person retreat in my town, and the coach has them once a year, and there are only 10 people there. And I came home Friday night. First of all, I was exhausted. I could not believe how exhausted I was. But to go, it was all the way downtown, which is a bit of a drive. And also, there's always a professional photographer at these events, which is great. But then to be camera ready and all of that, and then getting home with the traffic, it took twice as much. And I came home and completely flaked out immediately. I was like, "Whoa, I am so exhausted." I couldn't even. My kids are like, "Mom, what's going on? Sleeping on the couch?" Like that. That's not me. Anyway, the next morning I woke up and I went, "You know what? I think I was the oldest person there." And for sure I was. I'm
mhm,
62. I think there were some ladies in their early
mhm.
50s, but I just went, "Oh, I think I'm the oldest one there."
I
And
find that happening more often.
that's what I was going to ask you. Are you noticing that? And does it bother you why do you think it is you take note?
Um, I think I take note because my whole life up until now, I guess this realization, I used to be the youngest person in the room. And
Mhm.
I just kind of went from youngest to oldest, and I missed somewhere in the middle, and I don't know
It's
where
a
that
blur.
happened.
Well,
And
COVID made things really weird. So
maybe
there's that.
that's it. Let's use that.
I talked to a lot of people talk about it because it really was weird when it comes to
Mhm.
timing of things. Yeah, so I'm noticing that too. So you felt that you were a younger franchise owner when you bought?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
interesting. And you did mention that people were surprised that you kept the business. Do you think that was about having suffered a family loss of your husband, or do you think it was more about, oh my God, you're single and female running a business? Do you think it was that?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of the both. I think because having a young daughter,
Yeah.
having a brand new teenager, she had just turned 13 moments before his passing. Um, I think a lot of people kind of expected me to, okay, she's got a young person, she needs to focus on that. She's going to sell the business and do something else. And um, it never crossed my mind. It just never crossed my mind to go ahead and do that. Um, I think it's just because the business that we purchased into was a family. And, I can't say that everybody that's in my situation would be able to do that. But I think we chose a great franchise that gave us the opportunity. Even when you talked about COVID, it made me think of we weren't closed during COVID. So everybody was home in their jammies, and Brad and I were still at Postnet.
Hmm.
We may have been in our shorts or our jammies, but we were still open. We may have been throwing bags out the door because people had their masks on and didn't want to talk to you, or standing, here, you put it on the counter, I'll walk back, and then you walk forward. But because of the shipping aspect of our business, we were considered an essential business. So we were able to stay open through COVID.
Interesting.
So my cabinets are just as dirty and unorganized as they were before COVID. I didn't get to do all that stuff. My scrapbooks still aren't taken care of. My daughter's baby book is in pieces.
Yeah.
I didn't have a couple years worth of let's figure out what to do when you're home.
Yeah.
Um, so we have just rocked and rolled all through that. And because of the company that we are associated with, the Postnet, we have been able to keep moving and move forward.
What do you want next in your business? You talk about growth and your the importance of the role that the community plays and you in the community. What else do you want next when you think about it?
Well, I really would love to see like I said, our community is in a growth mode. Not only the nucleus of where I live, but the communities around it. Would really like to be able to work towards opening additional post nets in our area. Um, it's just such a great model to be able to be many things to many people. So would love to look into that. Have a couple ideas. Just, working with headquarters to see when the right timing would be. Also with my daughter, like I said, she decided to graduate a year early. She's always worked a little bit at the center, but with on the job training requirements at high school, she's been working quite a number of hours, and she's kind of getting to see what it's really like. And she travels with me to conferences and to business meetings and things like that. So, in her words, you never know. There might be another Cranston owning a Postnet someday.
Wow. That's really great that she's being so exposed to the business and can see herself there.
Yeah, she actually had business cards before she was born, so she was destined. She's gone to more networking meetings than a lot of people have ever done.
Oh my gosh. I can imagine. I can imagine that. So how can people best get a hold of you? Can you repeat the town that you're in again and do you handle business that's not local?
Absolutely. We have a lot of customers. I have a couple that are in Canada that I've never met them, but they got a hold of me through social media and our website and whatnot. They were going to an event and needed some things. So absolutely, we can drop ship anywhere that somebody might need. Um, to get a hold of me, I mean, just through our email is very easy. It is FL, as in the abbreviation for Florida, FL171 at postnet.com. Our website is postnet.com/FL171. That gets you to my center. But you can just do just postnet.com, and that will get you to Postnet, and you can learn all about Postnet and, find a location nearest you. A lot of people don't realize there might be a Postnet near them. We are located next to a very busy shopping center, supermarket, and we still have people 16 years later that come in and go, I come here every day and I didn't know you were here. It's like, well, you didn't know you needed us until now.
That's right.
So would love for people to, reach out and find a little bit more about Postnet. We actually have a lot of them, not only in North America, So we're a huge company and we are all locally owned, which means that we can really service you and help with all of your business needs.
And so where is the town? Like, what's it near? What's the name of the town and what's it near?
We're called Lakewood Ranch. We are part of Bradenton, which would be about half an hour, 40 minutes south of Tampa.
Ah, okay. I didn't quite have it in my
Yep.
head where you were, and I know
Yep.
Florida's big. And
Yep.
then when you said ranch, I got confused. So I'm glad
Yep.
like, is it a ranch? Is it a town? I wasn't
Yep.
sure.
Lakewood
Um,
Ranch is a part of, it's part of Sarasota and Manatee counties. So we overlap two different counties.
okay. Got it. Well, Shawna, this has been great. Thank you so much for taking the time and explaining how the franchise business has really supported your family through some, traumatic loss and change in midlife. And, so many of us are going through something, and this was your journey. And fortunately, your business was the type that had a lot of support and helped you through. So you're busy focusing on how you can help other people, and your community was right there for you. It's a beautiful story. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. It was great getting to know you.
All right, that's it for now. If you're listening and loving what you hear, please like and subscribe. Reviews are great too and much appreciated. And if you're a woman in the middle who's 50 or over and an entrepreneur would also like to come on the show, please go to www.midlifeinterviews.com and fill out an application. We'd love to have you on to share your story. Thanks so much for listening. It's never too late for you to put yourself on your agenda. I'm Susie Rosenstein, and I'll talk to you again soon. Now, real quick, before we say goodbye, if you are connecting with the show and are finally ready to make some changes to regret-proof your life, I want to invite you to apply for the Women in the Middle Academy. It's my transformational midlife group coaching program to help you get clear about what's getting in your way so you can get on with the good stuff. Head over to www.womeninthemiddleacademy.com. Talk soon.